Hello, everybody. Well, there's a significant update in the case of Connect versus True the Vote involving election logistics software and sensitive data, and the allegations that that data was stored on Chinese servers, that Chinese workers in Wuhan, China, of all places, what are the odds, were not only had access to almost 2 million poll worker, election judge, uh, etc., personal details, but also allegations now that those Chinese people in Wuhan were also programming and coding that election software. I'm going to show you the court records. This is not hearsay. I'm going to show you the official court records. There's a new criminal complaint. There's also a new affidavit in the lawsuit. So first and foremost, I want to catch you guys up on a few things. So it was in September that Connect sued True the Vote after True the Vote had held an event called the Pit that summer, talking about how they had discovered, a whistleblower, I guess, had come to them regarding the ability to remotely access Chinese computers and look at American election information on a Chinese computer in Wuhan. So Connect sues them for those allegations, saying that's not true, and you guys are basically racist bigots because the owner's Chinese. A month later, the owner of Connect gets arrested by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. They were the ones who filed the criminal complaint against him for doing exactly what Connect had said he was doing. And Los Angeles County said that they independently looked at this information, talked to workers with Connect, looked at the evidence, and confirmed that this was happening. And True the Vote did not reach out to Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County actually reached out to True the Vote after they heard True the Vote was working on this case too. Now, True the Vote had turned over the details to the FBI, according to them. And according to True the Vote, the FBI wasn't really proceeding with this case, and an FBI agent actually warned them on the inside that the FBI was likely going to turn this case around on True the Vote and come after True the Vote instead of coming after Connect for this illegal activity involving China and our elections. That is what drove, according to Catherine Engelbrecht, that is what drove her to go public with their findings. They were staying quiet in hopes the FBI would be able to catch the bad guys with the assistance of their silence. When they found out the FBI wasn't interested in preserving our elections, according to an agent who told them that, that's when they went public. Okay, the update is that the guy, one of the election workers for Connect, one of the workers who worked for the Connect election logistics company, has not only filed a criminal complaint, he has filed an affidavit with inside of the Connect versus True the Vote lawsuit, which again backs up everything that's been said as far as what the DA's office was saying, what True the Vote was saying. And he completely goes against his own company and says, yeah, my company Connect was trying to hide the dirt on this. So we're going to get into exactly what he is saying now. And before I do, shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. The second largest and third largest bank runs in history happened last month. The government is taking steps to guarantee all deposits. That means more money printing. Thousands have approached Noble Gold Investments to secure their wealth with gold. Gold is the most stable asset outside of government control, you guys. Hurry, go to Noble Gold Investments. The link down in my description, it's ivoryheckergold.com to secure your wealth. Bag of free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin. If you qualify, that is ivoryheckergold.com, ivoryheckergold.com. can't go wrong with Noble Gold. There's always a risk with any investment. Checking your comments. It's been a while. Yes, it has. I gotta get back to regular live streams, don't I? It's been hectic. You've been waiting on a Catherine update. Yeah, well, I'm about to update you guys on that. FBI do cover-ups. It seems that way, doesn't it? Thank you guys so much for all of the comments, and any super chats to support my independent work are much appreciated. I'll be sure to read all super chats. With that being said, let's jump into another really interesting twist in Connect and in the whole Connect election software saga. So I told you about the lawsuit in September. I believe it was August when True the Vote went public with their findings about China. The lawsuit from Connect coming after True the Vote for going public came in September. Then in October, Los Angeles County arrests the CEO of Connect. Then in November, LA drops the case against the CEO after arresting this guy, having him extradited to Los Angeles County. They say, just kidding, we're going to throw in the towel on this case, maybe start from scratch, maybe not. This is a super sketchy update from Los Angeles County. And I thought it was interesting. You know, I bet this DA, very leftist DA in LA it's going to drive him nuts that people on the right are celebrating the arrest of this guy. And sure enough, he flips around and joins what the leftist media wants him to do and throws in the towel on this case and says, you know, maybe we're going to start from scratch. Very bizarre. But so the New York Times in November said LA drops criminal charges against election software executive Eugene Yu was accused of illegally sending data about poll workers to China in a case that became fodder for election deniers. Los Angeles County dropped criminal charges against the top executive of an elections technology company on Wednesday, bringing to an abrupt end an unusual case that became the focus of Americans who distrust the country's electoral system. The district attorney's office said in a statement that it had dropped the case against the executive Eugene Yu because of concerns about the pace of the investigation. Excuse me? The pace? And the potential bias in the presentation of evidence in the case. That is the most BS reason for dropping a case. The pace of the investigation and the potential bias in the presentation of evidence in the case. Now, I looked at the criminal complaint against Eugene Yu at that time, and they talked about the DA's office of investigators talked about speaking with employees of Connect and actually looking at how the information was compromised with the help of those employees. Now, today, we're going to hear from one of those employees whose, whole career is all screwed up because he agreed to comply with Los Angeles County in outing the corruption of a U.S. election logistics software company. All right, let me show you guys the update. Here we have the affidavit of Grant Bradley. He was a Connect employee. This is an affidavit that was entered into the record in the lawsuit, Connect versus True the Vote. This was entered into the official record in this lawsuit this month. I'm going to read you this whole affidavit. So it says, before me, the undersigned notary on this day personally appeared Grant Bradley, whose identity is known to me, who under oath states as follows. I make this affidavit on personal knowledge, except as to matters stated upon information and belief, and as to those matters I testify to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. On December 22nd, 2022, I filed a verified complaint and jury demand against Connect, Inc. in Michigan State Court. I understand the complaint was attached as Exhibit C to defendants' opposed emergency motion for leave to inspect property of plaintiff to prevent further spoliation in the case of Connect Inc. versus True the Vote Inc., Greg Phillips and Catherine Engelbrecht in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, Houston Division. I am now involved in the True the Vote case. However, I was asked by one of the attorneys in that case to execute this affidavit as an alternative to being deposed or otherwise becoming immediately involved. Now, my live stream software won't let me just scroll through this whole affidavit for you, but I'm going to read the whole thing because it's short and pertinent. Important details here from the former Connacht employee who was abruptly fired by Eugene Yu after he began to comply with district attorney's office investigators out of Los Angeles. So here's his story. He says, if subpoenaed, I would be available to testify at trial in the allegations I made in my complaint, some of which I understand were quoted by defendants in their motion and other facts, including all of the following. Mr. Grant Bradley says, quote, shortly after I started my employment with Connect, Eugene Yu approached me about making a campaign contribution to Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson's campaign in his name and said that Connect would reimburse me. I recognized the request to be a violation of Michigan campaign finance law and rejected it. Quote, in what appeared to be in violation of its contracts with U.S.-based customers, Connect provided programmers in China private data of U.S.-based election workers to include Social Security numbers and other identifying information. I witnessed customers' data, specifically poll watcher information, being made accessible to foreign nationals in China. Grant Bradley continues, quote, Connect's election logistics software was and may still be substantially developed by developers, designers, and coders who, to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, are all Chinese nationals based out of Wuhan, China. Connect employee Grant Bradley continues, quote, Connect initially identified these Chinese nationals as employees of the company, but upon information and belief, in response to political pressure to sever ties with China, Connect, having no intention of severing the relationship with the Chinese nationals, hired them back as independent contractors and assigned them to the exact same responsibilities they held as employees. Wow. Bradley continues, quote, based on my review of the users in the apps that Connect used for collaborative development, which information I had as part of the performance of my duties for the company, coding and design, Ding Talk, Zentao, Connect appeared to employ at least 80 and perhaps 100 Chinese nationals to work on its election software for American clients. Bradley continues, quote, the standard process Connect used to onboard Chinese-based programmers was to create customer environments for the programmers by uploading files containing all of the American customers' poll workers' information, polling locations, and other data to DingTalk or Jira, where the leaders from the Chinese team would have access to Jira and the entire Chinese team would have access to DingTalk. Bradley continues, quote, during my employment on or after October 4th, 2022, I was instructed by my superiors to say outwardly to customers that poll worker data was not stored overseas, was not available to foreign nationals, and that we had no idea why Eugene Yu had been arrested. That is for storing data about Chinese poll workers on servers in China. He says, quote, my superiors who instructed me in these regards, and I knew these statements were false. Specifically, Eugene Yu had previously told me that Connect used Chinese nationals to work on Connect software and coding and claimed everybody did it, including companies like Microsoft and Apple. You hear that? So literally he's saying that Eugene Yu had previously specifically told him that Connect is using Chinese nationals to work on programming American election software. But now that they were under investigation by Los Angeles County, he was told to act clueless. How dirty is that? He goes on to say that Eugene Yu, quote, told me not to worry about it. I told my superiors that I would not comply with these instructions, and I refused to make these or any other representations of customers or anyone else that I knew or thought were untrue. Wow, Eugene Yu told him to lie to law enforcement? It finishes off, I certify under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Further affiant saith not. Signed, Grant Bradley. Subscribed to and sworn before me on this 5th day of April 2023, and then signed by a notary public in Michigan. So that is the latest entry in the lawsuit against True the Vote. Connect suing True the Vote, saying that True the Vote is just racist against Chinese. That's why they're telling these stories. But here's Connect's own employee saying, no, actually, this is exactly what was happening. Grant Bradley saying it is exactly what happened, and I was instructed to hide it. This is huge, says Todd. Yeah, I think it is. And now in this affidavit, he mentions a few paragraphs from his complaint. So I am going to also show you guys. Now, this complaint is something that I'm able to bring up and scroll through for you. He filed the complaint, the same guy, the Connect employee, Grant Bradley, filed a complaint asking that criminal charges be filed against his employer, his former employer, for violating the whistleblower statute and another statute. So I'm going to show you that as well. But real quick, let me show you his LinkedIn page, you guys. This is the Connect employee who's coming forward. You know, he's saying Los Angeles County wanted this information and I was going to comply. I wasn't going to lie like my boss told me to. Well, now his whole world is turned upside down. He lost his job. Connect abruptly fires him, and now he can't seem to find another job. This is a struggle of a lot of whistleblowers. So I commend this man, Grant Bradley, for, staying honest despite the hardship that he's now facing. He posted this update on his LinkedIn 2 days ago saying, hi, everyone. 6 days ago, he posted this. Hi, everyone. Last year, I was an implementation manager leading a team of talented business analysts, but my employment came to an abrupt end in October. My former employer was caught up in investigations and law enforcement raids. It appears there is a stigma stemming from my time there, as I have been submitting applications daily with no success. All of this is to say, if you know anyone who is hiring in the Lansing, Michigan area for a remote position, please reach out. I'd love to discuss career opportunities. So there he is, struggling to find a job now after doing the right thing. I hate to see that, but kudos for him for keeping it real. He doesn't even mention the name of his company, but you can see, right here, actually, it's listed that he was an implementation manager for Connect between March and October of 2022. Okay, I want to show you guys his complaint asking for criminal charges against his company. Here it is. Let's see if we can make that full screen. Yeah, very important details in this complaint filed by Grant Bradley against his former employer, Connect, specifically Eugene Yu. He says, nature of the case. This is a suit brought under the Michigan Whistleblower Protection Act, or alternatively, a wrongful discharge in violation of Michigan public policy. He's asking for a trial by jury. He says, his complaint says, plaintiff Grant Bradley was employed as the implementation manager with the defendant Connect until October 11th, 2023. 2022. As I recall, that was about a week after Eugene Yu was arrested, that he was fired. After he complied with law enforcement to help get Eugene Yu fired. He says that October 11th is when the defendant, remember, is Connect. Plaintiff is Mr. Grant Bradley. So when Connect terminated his employment as a direct result of plaintiff's cooperation with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office following the arrest of defendant Eugene Yu. Defendant Yu was arrested by Meridian Township Police following an investigation by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office that revealed defendants Connect and Yu made available poll worker private data to foreign nationals working in China in violation of a multi-million-dollar contract with Los Angeles County. LA County was just one of many huge metro areas that were connected or contracted with Connect to run their election logistics. It says here, quote, during his employment, plaintiff, Grant Bradley, was told by his superiors to say outwardly to customers that poll worker data was not stored overseas, not available to foreign nationals, and that they had no idea why defendant Yu was arrested. Defendant Yu told plaintiff not to worry about the Chinese nationals working on Defendant Connect's software and coding, and also claimed companies like Microsoft and Apple had Chinese programmers working on their software behind the scenes. In approximately September 2022, following accusations made by True the Vote, plaintiff began investigating the extent of the information provided by Defendant Connect to the programmers based out of Wuhan, China. Plaintiff confirmed that defendants Yu and Connect had been providing to these Chinese programmers private data of poll workers to include social security numbers and other personal identifying information. Following defendant Yu's arrest, plaintiff cooperated with Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office to provide them handwritten notes and other documentation evidencing defendants' illegal activities. At the plaintiff's request, the lead investigator from Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office was brought back to the office in order for plaintiff to offer additional information for the investigation. In the week between defendant Yu's arrest, October 4th, 2022, and the plaintiff's dismissal, October 12th of that year, plaintiff was told by other senior level management for Connect that he would not have to speak to clients anymore, as plaintiff proclaimed that he would not lie to the customers about their data not being made available to foreign nationals. You get that? So senior executives at Connect told him, okay, you're not going to be able to talk to our clients, aka the big counties across America. You're cut off from talking to them anymore because you're going to tell them the truth. And then he was just fired. He goes on to say, shortly thereafter, plaintiff was locked out of his business software accounts, October 11th. Additionally, defendant Connect maliciously blocked the plaintiff's payroll account so that the plaintiff was unable to retrieve personal compensation documentation. He then received an email letter from defendant Connect's counsel on October 12th, informing him that his position had been eliminated as a result of, quote, current economic conditions and challenges facing the company. Oh, wow. The complaint continues, quote, plaintiff's representation in his chosen field, plaintiff's reputation in his chosen field has been ruined by the decision of defendants to illegally store information on servers housed in China. Plaintiff had aspirations of running for political office, but has been told by political pundits that he is now untouchable due to his employment history with defendants. Plaintiff brings this lawsuit to address and confront defendants' retaliatory behavior. Plaintiff Grant Bradley is an individual who resides in Ingham County, Michigan. Plaintiff was an employee of Connect as its implementation manager up until plaintiff was unlawfully terminated for cooperating with Los Angeles County District Attorney following the arrest of defendant Eugene Yu. Defendant Connect is a Michigan corporation with a principal place of business in Lansing, Michigan. Defendant Eugene Yu is an individual who, upon information and belief, resides in Ingham County, Michigan. Defendant Yu is the chief executive officer of Connect, and he was arrested October 4th following an announcement by LADA that it had charged him with storing data about poll workers on servers in China. The amount in controversy is in excess of $25,000 and is otherwise within the jurisdiction of this court. I guess he's asking for $25,000, whatever he didn't get paid. Venue is proper in this judicial court pursuant to the law. Okay, so the general allegations: plaintiff was hired by Defendant Connect on or about January of 2022 for a position to start on March 1st as a business analyst and was promoted to implementation manager in May of that year. Plaintiff reported to Eric Statz and Louis Nabergoy, but regularly had daily contact and interaction with Defendant Yu. According to its website, Defendant Connect provides election logistics software to its 32 clients it currently serves in North America. Defendant Connect claims to be the developer, the designer, the coder, and project management experts. In reality, Defendant Connect's developers, designers, and coders are all Chinese nationals based out of Wuhan, China. Yikes. It says here, at one point, these Chinese nationals were direct employees of Defendant Connect, but Defendant Connect outwardly claimed to terminate the relationship with the Chinese nationals in response to public political pressure to sever ties with China. However, internally, Defendant Yu had no intention of severing the relationship with the Chinese nationals. He hired them back as independent contractors and assigned to them the exact same responsibilities they held as employees. Quote, as further evidence by Defendant Yu's disregard for the law of this state, shortly after plaintiff started his employment with Defendant Connect, Defendant Yu approached plaintiff about making a campaign contribution to Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson's campaign in his name that Defendant Connect would reimburse him for. Plaintiff immediately recognized Defendant Yu's request to be a violation of Michigan campaign finance law and rejected the overture from Defendant Yu. Plaintiff received a promotion to implementation manager May of 2022, for which he supervised a team of 7 business analysts and 4 interns. For his efforts, plaintiff was to make $80,000 per year and was told to develop a bonus structure for himself and the entire company. Plaintiff's performance during the course of his employment with Defendant Connect was stellar, as evidenced by the additional responsibilities assigned to the plaintiff. Plaintiff maintained direct communication with clients across the United States who used Defendant Connect's products and worked with the Chinese programmers on a daily basis. As part of his employment with Defendant Connect, plaintiff witnessed customers' data, specifically poll watcher information, being made accessible to foreign nationals from China. Plaintiff spoke out to his direct supervisors about his concerns that these foreign nationals had access to the data and was told that, quote, everyone, other software companies like Microsoft and Apple was doing it. Plaintiff did not know the full extent of the information provided to the Chinese nationals until approximately September 2022, when True the Vote began making allegations against Defendant Connect. At that time, plaintiff began to investigate the extent of the information provided to the Chinese programmers by Defendant Yu and Connect, and began researching state and federal laws regarding the sharing of personal identifying information with foreign nationals. Plaintiff recognized that defendants had been breaking the law for some time and immediately set out to find alternative work. Regrettably, plaintiff's efforts to secure alternative work were unsuccessful before the raid by the police. On or about October 4th, police from East Lansing Police Department and Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office raided the offices of Defendant Connect in Okemos and seized company equipment to include servers and hard drives. Defendant Yu was arrested and charged by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office with illegally storing poll worker data on servers housed in China. Following defendant Yu's arrest, plaintiff was told by his supervisors not to speak with police or cooperate in their investigation of defendant Yu and Connect's activities. Wow. Goes on to say, quote, plaintiff, knowing what defendant Yu and defendant Connect had been engaged in, ignored the directive of his supervisors and asked to meet with the police on the day of the raid so that he could provide them with the handwritten notes and other electronic evidence he believes further substantiated defendant's illegal activities. You guys, it's crazy that this insider provided this evidence to the DA's office, and the DA's office a month later went on to drop this case. How corrupt. What's more corrupt, all these updates on this man, Grant Bradley, are being ignored by the mainstream media. You want to do, like, let me just show you, like, this is a big deal, but let me just show you the Google search for results for Grant Bradley and Connect. You click the news tab. There should be all the mainstream media, you know, the New York Times covering it, but no, it's all these alternative, it's literally 6 alternative websites. That's it. You know, I'm like, our mainstream media in America is so freaking corrupt that they're not even covering this incredible, important case. Checking your comments here. Okay, so I just think this complaint is very interesting. Let's see what time we got. Oh, time has flown by. Look, you guys, I have linked this complaint down in my description of this video. So if you want to read the whole thing and what Grant Bradley is alleging against his company, you can do so. And then at the end, it lays out the criminal charges that he's looking for. He's looking for a jury to, you know, decide that Connect and Eugene Yu did indeed violate, number 1, violation of the Michigan Whistleblower Protection Act, and number 2, wrongful discharge in violation of Michigan public policy. That's what he's looking for. And you saw there, he has still not been able to find work since then. Now, you know, we in America getting gaslit here about this case, but if you look in the internet, Australia actually had the exact same issue back in 2020. They caught it sooner than us, I guess. I'm looking at an article from the Townsville Bulletin that said the headline is Chinese work for Electoral Commission, a security risk MP claims. A federal MP has slammed the use of a Chinese company to support the administrative process of the local government elections, which he says could have put Queenslanders' personal data at risk. I wonder if it was the Chinese or the Australian outing of Connect that caused Connect to fire the Wuhan people as direct employees and then hire them back as contractors so that Americans wouldn't catch on as much. But it took Americans about 2 years and they caught on. So Greg Phillips from True the Vote first came across this data, he said, in court, where I was in the courtroom at the time. He said he first came across that data January of 2021 when someone who had accessed a Chinese computer remotely showed him the data in a hotel room in Texas. They met in a hotel room secretly and poured over the data for about 3 or 4 hours, and it was personal information relating to 1.8 million poll workers, from election judges, who are the people who run an entire poll place, to poll watchers. And now the New York Times was saying, let me go to what they said here. So they're saying that people are using this case to say that Connect compromised the actual vote, but Connect only operates, the logistics of poll workers, not the actual vote. So I do want more information on just how much relating to the casting and counting of votes the Chinese Wuhan people had. I do know that election judges have all that access. They have the access. Election judges have the access to the casting of the ballot. So if someone in Wuhan has all of the election judges and information, then theoretically remotely, that Wuhan person would have access, the same access to the casting of the vote that the election judge has by having every bit of that election judge's personal details, from the judge's social security to everything else. So I am not convinced that what Connect was doing was not compromising the actual vote. This is a very concerning case. And the fact that Los Angeles County threw out its case, and that none of the other counties, because Connect worked with 32 different major jurisdictions across America, none of these jurisdictions are going to pursue criminal complaints against Connect after Connect violated the law and compromised the personal information of election judges in all of those jurisdictions. The one county, Los Angeles, that did pursue drops the case randomly. This is very strange. Very freaking strange. And the fact that True the Vote and their source were looking at this data and turned it over to the FBI, and the FBI, to our knowledge, has not done anything about it either. And we are led to believe that our vote in 2024 is really going to count. That's the big lie. That's the big lie, that our vote is actually going to count in 2022. When we are gaslit out the wazoo about all this, when evidence is uncovered and then dropped, no criminal charges pursued, when evidence is put online and then censored by every media outlet, every social media outlet, every major news outlet, every newspaper, they censor the evidence that is out there. No law enforcement agency will proceed with charges against the people violating these elections. When legislatures in various states try to pass new laws to protect our elections next time around, judges strike them down. And one that I'm thinking of offhand is here in Texas, when it was uncovered that people were voting from P.O. boxes. That gives you no information that this person's actually a Texas resident. They list in their voter registration, their address is a P.O. box. That doesn't mean you're a Texan. Yet, those votes were actually cast. Texas legislature found out about it, said we need to pass a law to prevent this in the future, and a judge struck it down, saying that it was racist against Latinos. So in 2024, countless people are going to be voting for P.O. boxes in Texas. Is Texas going to turn blue? Well, every Democrat across America can get a P.O. box in Texas and vote Texan. So we'll see how red Texas stays in 2024. So we see all this and nothing gets done, and the people who try to get things done are trampled down. So the big lie is that your vote's going to count in 2024. We're in bad shape in America, and it is a crying shame that there are this many cowards in the mainstream media, that they won't actually cover what's really going on. All right, guys, I just had to update you guys. It's pretty unsettling, this election stuff. Please spread the word about it. Please share this video with your friends and help expose how compromised our elections are. Because if enough people become aware, that gives us hope that we can improve things in our country. But the mainstream media in the meantime is doing a great job of brainwashing everyone and scaring everyone into believing that if you question elections, you're a wacko, and believing that elections are the most secure, transparent thing in history, which is completely false. Yeah, guys, please share my video. My YouTube is not, it doesn't perform as well as people who gossip about dating or gender. My YouTube agent told me this. He's like, yeah, you cover the hard stuff on YouTube, and YouTube comes after you for that. So, but this is what matters. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time on like dating gossip on YouTube. I'd rather cover what really matters. This stuff is so important to the future of our country. So please share my video. Actually, my channel's at risk by covering this topic, so I appreciate your support. My Rumble and BitChute are linked below in case I get nuked on YouTube. Thank you for your support, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.